When designing for Android, it's important to understand the fundamental way you navigate an Android phone, specifically the back, home, and recents buttons, which are found at the bottom of all Android devices. Of the three, it's especially important to understand how the back button itself works, as it works a little bit differently than you might expect. My name is Marvin Bernal, and I'm an Android developer here at the Working Group. In this video, I will dispel some of the confusion between the back button, how it can be misused, abused, and how it should work. On every Android device, we have three buttons at the bottom that are always accessible no matter what you're doing when you're using an Android phone. We have the triangle on the left, which is the back button, the circle in the middle, which is a home button, and the square on the right, which is a recents button, or the multitasking button. Every single Android device is different. Some may have these buttons as on-screen, while others may have them as a part of the device hardware. However, no matter which Android phone you use, it's guaranteed that these buttons or functions will always be present. In this example, you can see that HTC phone on the right has a back and a home button as a part of the device hardware. You might ask yourself, where is the recents button? So in this case, HTC has opted to include it as a part of a double-click gesture of the home button, which is a bit different than the Nexus phone we have on the left. Rest assured, these functions are present on every single Android device. So if we take a time machine back to the early days of Android, it was common that most apps didn't include their own back button as a part of their app designs, as it was a part of the Android back that was present on every single device. When Ice Cream Sandwich was introduced, however, Google added a new button called Up, which you can see in the top left in the Gmail example, which was a guideline to be included as a part of every single Android app. For the most part, this was good, especially for users coming from an iOS background, as they could feel at home with this new button, as it was similarly placed on the iPhone. But this was a double-edged sword, because as the name implies, it's not a back button, but an up button, which provides completely different navigation. Let's consider an example using Google Play. Let's say you're interested in evolution, and you want to purchase a book on Charles Darwin. So you click on the book, and you're brought to a page providing more details on that book. However, after reading the description, you decide that this isn't for you and you want to go back to look at some other books. At this point, you have two options. You can press back, which will take you back to the previous page of the app, which is the home page. However, you'll also notice that you have the new up button in the example on the right, which will take you up one page, specifically to the parent page of the screen. And this is the same page as the back button. So in this situation, both the up and back buttons navigate you to the same page, which is why users and developers confuse them to be the same, but this isn't always the case. Let's look at another example. Let's say that instead of buying the first book, you click on the book, you scroll down to view more books by the same author, and you find a book that you're interested in, called The Power of Place. Notice that it takes you to a similar page that shows you the price and description of this new book. Also note, this new screen you navigated to has the same structure as the previous one, as they are the same page. The only difference between each page is that they're displaying different books. So pressing back will take you to a previous screen showing you the details of the Origin of Species book as you would expect. Pressing up, however, will take you to the list of recommended books, as this is the parent page of this screen. It's important to note that pressing up from either book listing will take you to the home page of this app, and this is the important difference. You can think of navigating your app like navigating down a pyramid of screens. The home page would be at the top of the pyramid, while the details pages would be at the second level of the pyramid. This means that in the previous example, both the Origin of Species and the Power of Play books are on the same level within the app hierarchy. So they are going to navigate to the same page when you press the up button. The back button, however, takes you to a previous screen that you were just on. It can take you to a previous screen of the current app, or it might be a completely different app, depending on just how you got to the current screen. So understanding these slight differences is fundamental when coming from other platforms, and is especially important when designing for Android. My name is Marvin Bernal. Thanks for watching the small lesson in designing for Android.